Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we helped a cardinal we essentially rescued a cardinal from being held captive by the Dark Eldar. And now we gotta talk to Omicron Arc again.
Inquisitor, the etheric alpha spectrometer finished the analysis of the warp signatures detected around the last Drakari Webway portal.
Tell me that this is leading somewhere. I'll be quite dissatisfied if I cannot deliver judgment upon those who are responsible for the destruction in this system.
Xenorite triangulation subroutines identified the same signatures on a deserted void station in the system. Note that this method is considered as a grade Gamma tech heresy.
I need results, Omicron. I don't care about your meddling with the Xenorite technology.
Statement recorded for future reference. On the subject, etheric triangulation subroutines identified familiar signatures on a deserted void station. 90.7% probability that the Webway gate was opened from these coordinates.
Then we have a long, exhausting piece of work ahead of us in this accursed system.
I have to get rid of all this junk. I do a mission and I'm just stuck sitting on a ton of gear. Alright, let's go destroy this Dark Eldar hideout.
Good work, Tech Priest. This abandoned station is definitely used by the Dark Eldar. I can finally pay my regards to their leader. Indeed. They also need solid Webway gates to transport human slaves to their otherworldly bastions. There must be something vital to their plans I can destroy around here. This place has no place in our galaxy.
While I was loading in, I realized something. To my knowledge, this is only the third time the Dark Eldar have shown up in a video game. Because to my knowledge, they showed up in Dawn of War 1. They show up here. And then Dark Nexus Arena was set in Camorra, and I think there was a Dark Eldar character you could play as. Outside of that, they didn't show up in Dawn of War 2. They didn't show up in the ill-fated Dawn of War 3. They didn't show up in Eternal Crusade. There was the game that was like... it was like Civilization. Can't remember what it was. I think it was based on one of the wars... I want to say... I can't remember what war it's supposed to be based on, but... They didn't show up there to my knowledge. Or at least if they did, they show up in a DLC. Oh, 4 games. Maybe 5. I think 4 only. Because I think they showed up in Battlefleet Gothic Armada 1. It's really unfortunate. On one hand, I get it. The Dark Eldar get the short end of the stick in terms of lore. You know, they get a little bit, just enough to be like, hey, this is a faction you should care about. And then they kind of stop, so you don't have a reason to care, unfortunately. Which is a real shame, because I think the Dark Eldar have... There's a lot of potential. I mean, you see their work with these guys, with the racks and everything, and there's a lot of different groups or creatures that they create. And I'd love to see, because recently in some of the lore, a group of Primaris Space Marines actually got snagged by some Dark Eldar, and I'd love to see what could come of that. But I get the feeling that's going to be either a forgotten plot point, or it's going to just be like, yeah, they did bad stuff, and then they're just not going to touch on it. Which is just a shame. almost feel like I don't know exactly how Games Workshop handles everything, but I feel as though they should really have someone working on a book dealing with each faction at any given time. Just so, you know, we don't have huge gaps where I'm thinking like the Dark Eldar, the Tau, and to some degree Orcs don't get just ignored. Because it always feels like they always just kind of get the short end of the stick. I said it before, Orcs definitely get it. Where it's just like, yep, we got some Orcs. They're the throwaway enemies. When we want to have... It's kind of like an avatar. They are the race equivalent of an avatar of Cain. You know, avatars of Cain are supposed to be these big bad dudes, but every person, you know, they got serious business going on when they manage to beat the hell out of one. To the point where the god of, like, death and murder gets offed a lot, or at least his avatars do. The Medusae. They're pretty cool, and they're the background of the thumbnails I'm using for the Dark Eldar segment of Martyr. Which I would hope someone figured out. Each section, like each kind of DLC or part of the game that I do, has a different background. So all the stuff that had a... What was it? It's like a demon engine. I can't remember the exact name. Mauler Fiend? Yeah, that sounds about right, a Mauler Fiend. That's for all the chaos stuff that was before this. For this, we'll have the Medusae, or Medusa, depending on if you want to include the E. But there's that, and then the original part had the Martyr, and then I gotta find something for when I do Prophecy. I don't know what I'm gonna do, honestly, for the smaller DLC things, because a lot of those are just like, hey, here's a mission! And I don't want to be sitting here making super unique thumbnails for effectively one-offs. Oh, there's another Dark Eldar unit. The Scythe. I'll get close once I clear out a lot of these guys. Yeah, look at that. Four-armed Snake Man, which I believe are just a separate race that they hired or brought in. Like the Dark Eldar are just like, yo, you work for us now. Once again, be cool to see them as a separate race to play as, or the HRUD, H-R-U-D. I don't know if you put emphasis on the H, or no emphasis, or anything. And then of course we have another race I'm thinking of, the Old Ones, which is just the Lizard Men, again. I'll admit, if we had sci-fi Aztec Lizard Men, I would use them. I would play as them all the time. If I can get, you know, effectively a new, like, Mazdamundi, or the sci-fi equivalent of Lord Croak, the rarest Pepe in all of Warhammer Fantasy, I would totally play them. I think they'd be fun to play. Or, as I keep saying, give me Space Gaven. I don't care that other factions kind of take up the reins of what they already do. I'll still play them. You can't tell me Warpstone doesn't exist. I mean, the fact we don't explicitly see Warpstone is a bit weird, because the Warp has an influence, has a far heavier influence in this game than Fantasy. Fantasy, they're like, oh yeah, magic's a thing. No relation to chaos. This, it's like, oh yeah, Psychers all tap into, like, chaos and the Warp. So it's ever present, the taint of it would have to be there.
It's high time to seal the gates then. Let's see how they react.
It's a fancy looking Webway gate. I want to use my triangle ability just to rail on this thing. And because I'm missing. Aim down, lady.
How dare you to interfere with our work, you arrogant monkey.
Look who has crawled back to receive judgment.
I will cut out your tongue for your disrespect. I am one of the cabal of the Jagged Maze. We are the masters of the dark pathways that lead to the Sunless Kimura. You cannot stop us.
Stop what? You are kidnapping Imperial citizens. You are nothing but cowards.
Kidnapping? That's endearing. We have taken millions of your kind, you fool. You have abandoned entire worlds and let us prey upon the remaining human cattle. I should thank you for that.
The Emperor doesn't abandon anyone. I am here to stop your foul machinations.
You are only wasting your time, creature. The hidden Webway tunnels spread wide beyond the veil of your subsector. We go wherever we wish.
Then you should return to your true master and frolic at the feet of Slaanesh.
For this, I will show you the true meaning of pain.
The true meaning of pain. Trying to pre-order a PlayStation 5. I'll admit, I'm kind of annoyed at how they pronounce... Like, I get it. It's monkey. It's supposed to be calling a human essentially just an ape. But I always like the idea of them pronouncing it Monkai. Just to be like, hey, we don't know what a monkey is, so we have a very similar name, but not just literally monkey. I mean, you could easily make a return to monkey joke, but I kind of want to, I mean, return to monkey is kind of bad. That's the whole joke, but stop hitting me, lady. Bust out my rifle full of crunk juice.
Target acquired.
Oh, I headshot the guy. I hit the wrong button. Oh, wow. I guess I've never used that just on low-tier enemies before, enough to actually bear witness to the damage output. It's kind of cool. A bit of a waste, but I think it is an ability I have, or I can get, that reduces cooldown on sniper shots, so I might be able to just spam those out. Is it efficient? Nah. Is it cool? Yeah, kinda. I think it's worth it. Hello there. I just wish I didn't have a stupid AoE at my feet ability. That's such a... that just sucks. Okay, this is the one point where it actually has use.
One day I'll find out why you hate the Drakari so much, and how you know so much about them.
I guess getting mobbed by little horde enemies, but I had to throw myself into them to utilize that. I don't know, maybe if I... See, I can't even be like, oh, well, what if I get jumped by Chaos Space Marine who's in melee. Well, I'll just back up. You know, it's not exactly rocket science to figure out if someone's too close, back away from them. These aren't exactly, you know, the biggest of big brain ideas here. Quick, shadow clones. Imperial shadow clone jutsu. Those damage over time were supposed to be healing me. Weren't really doing the job. I really need to just try building some stuff for health on hit. Because I do a ton of hits. I just need to heal off them. Oh, thought that was the way to keep going, but I was wrong. Yeah, I'd mentioned it before, but the Dark Eldar, especially in Dawn World 1, were really shortchanged in their units and just a lot of their abilities. I get it was for the Soulstorm DLC and they really wanted to hammer home souls, but it was pretty much, here's some garbage units, the Deus of Destruction, and 8 billion soul abilities. I hope you like the soul abilities. Admittedly, you could build up a stockpile of souls super easy and spam, but I think that's... to me, that's not exactly a good selling point. It wasn't like the Necron's bajillion war. You could just spam a bajillion warriors and then go and get them all killed, take your Necron Lord, use the revival orb, and just get all your units back for free. And far exceed your unit cap. Haven't fought an Incubus yet. Can't remember where they sit in Dark Eldar ranks. I would say high enough to be noteworthy. And then the grenades, if it's what I think it is, it's their chemical weapon that causes fear, terror effects. It just, I don't believe it has a unique effect in this game. I do wish these holograms were a little more effective at distracting everybody. Because most of the enemies just walk on by. They're just like, oh yeah, holograms. Neat, and just ignore it. It's like, no, I spent time getting this armor. Be distracted. You don't have to be distracted for a long time, just long enough to justify my use of these things. And they have the flying guys here, the Scourge, but I wish they had the Hellions, because the Hellions The Hellions are funny simply because they ride into battle on, like, hoverboards. If you imagine the flying thing, like flying hoverboard thing the Green Goblin had in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, so with Tobey Maguire and all them, the older Spider-Man movies, that weird hoverboard, that is pretty much what they ride. So anytime I see them, I just think to myself, we can rule this city, Spider-Man! It's just funny in Dawn of War 1, just having a horde of them just come flying in, creating the ghetto Green Goblin Brigade. And they're actually pretty useful. They weren't, there's guys way better than them, I just can't remember who they were. I usually just play the Ultimate Apocalypse mod, so their roster's a little tweaked, but I usually just, it's one of the, it's like the Firstborn or something. I use them all the time because they have pretty heavy weapons and can just slap people around pretty easy. And I build enough of them that even though they have high pop cost, they just lay down withering fire. Oh, one thing of note is I had mentioned the Deus of Destruction and all that, and one thing I forgot to mention was their weaponry. They use, it's dark light, I think it is. It's like essentially a dark matter beam, and it's in essence the inverse of what the normal Eldar use. I can't remember the name of what the Dark Eldar use, because they have like shuriken pistols and stuff, but it's not that, it's their energy weapon. I just know, like, their tank, the Fire Prism, has this light laser cannon weapon, and that's effectively like the light version, and these guys use the dark version. Little aesthetic thing I thought was neat. Doesn't mean much, but still cool. Who is all left? I've cleared out a couple, like, elites or champions. I've never realized that the Cabalite marksmen actually have... Well, I've noticed they have a shield, but I've never realized you actually have to break the shield. Kind of shows you how low damage this character is. At least in sustained firefights. If I do stuff that's just raw burst damage, I can do a ton. But it's... as you can see, it's reliant on doing those big burst damages. That hit to the Scourge was pretty impressive. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to, in between my normal shots, kind of throw headshots when they come off cooldown. Even if I don't charge them and just take the damage effectively on the chin, half health in one hit, that's pretty solid. Especially considering how underpowered this gun is. I'm level 54 and I want to say this is like a 46 level gun. So the damage output is discernible. Wish I could speed that up a little more. Want to hit those ×8 multipliers a little quicker so I can just blap someone and move.
I have found an Imperial citizen in Xenos. He seems to be a psycho.
Hello.
Who are you?
My name is Thrall. I think I am. I was. a sanctioned psyker, formerly in the service of the planetary governor.
Why did Xenos spare you?
They tortured me. They have broken me. I was their bloodhound. They used me to sniff out high-ranking Imperials like you.
So, this is how they knew about my every move.
I had dreams about you. I felt your burning dedication. I felt your wrath. They were afraid of you, you know.
You could have warned me telepathically.
I guess. Yes. I can remember the last time I had thoughts and decisions. There was just the pain and the lack of pain.
Well, time to flatten him.
Salvation. The place has been cleaned. The reavers of the Cabal of the Jagged Maze has been stopped. I consider this operation a success. I'm counting on that, actually. We should teach them a lesson while they think they're safe. But for now, my work here is done.
Alright, so that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.